Okay, so we're going to be graphing parabolas in factored form. So the way to graph an equation that is in factored form is to basically just pull out the roots and just make them the opposite of what they are. So in this case, it would be, instead of -3, it would be +3. And in this case, instead of +7, it will become -7. And these numbers here are the two x-intercepts. So the x-intercepts would be 0, 3 and 0, and -7 and 0. So let's graph that on our made graph. So let's make the graph first. Okay, so it would be over here and here. That's going to be our two x-intercepts. And after this, we can find the next points by finding the AOS. And the way to find the AOS is you basically add the two numbers and then divide it by 2. So 3 plus -7, divide that by 2, is equal to -2. So now we know what the AOS is. So the AOS is right here, the imaginary line. And the AOS is important because it's also the same in x value for the vertex, and we're going to be finding the vertex next. So to find the vertex, all you have to do is substitute the 2 for the x value in the original equation right here. So both of these values. So let's do that. Y equals -2 times -2, -2 minus 3 minus -2 plus 7 equals -2 minus 5 and plus 5. Okay, so that is going to be, it's 50. So now we can plot the vertex of this parabola, which is right here. So right there. Let's make that a different color. Right there. And now we have the 3 most important lines of this parabola. And now we can basically draw the general shape of the parabola, which is this way. Now let's graph a parabola in vertex form. So vertex form is easier because it gives the vertex in the equation and it's easier to graph. So the vertex is h and k value. So in this case, the h and k value are 2 and 5. So let's graph that. 2 and 5. That's going to be right here. So there's 2 ways you can find the rest of the points, but one is to substitute and stuff, but I like doing the step pattern because the step pattern is much easier and it takes less time. So basically the step pattern is when you multiply the consecutive odd numbers by the value of a. So that's a. So that's because a parabola never increases by the same number and it's not constant. It's gradually growing. So that's going to be 1 times a, 3 times a, and 5 times a. Because we don't have to find we don't have to do all the consecutive numbers because you only need so many points to determine the general shape. So that's going to be 1 times -2, 3 times -2, and 5 times -2. And that's going to be -2, -6, and -10. And what these numbers mean is that on the vertex, you go to the right 1, and you go down the value of 2. So let's do that. So you go right 1 and down 2, which will bring us here. And then the next one is you go right 1 and down 6. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's going to be about here. My bad, the graph is not big enough, but you get the point. And basically, you can just reflect it on the other side because of the AOS. It's like equal. So whatever is on this side, it can be on that side too. So 1 here and 1 over here. So that's the general shape of the parabola, and it's facing down, and we knew that because the a value was negative, and that's how we know it's facing down. And there's also standard form, but standard form is more complicated, so you can just always convert it into vertex or factored form, and that's easy if you watched and visited the website.